we wake, hear the birds and see the sun.
Hi everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome to the painting. So I am doing a 24 by 24. This is, I would say, the biggest one I've done. I did another one last year. It was bigger, but I didn't really love it. The irony of it is that my son loved it, and he said, "Mom, can I have it?" And I was like, "Oh, I was gonna paint over it." He's like, "No, I love it." So he has it, but I haven't done one that big since then because I didn't like how it came out, and it kind of rocked my confidence a little. But I've been painting all week, and I've continued to kind of make the canvases I'm using bigger and bigger. And I have a particular painting in mind which I've mixed paint for. Actually some special colors, a little, I mean, nothing crazy, but I mixed some different colors to get a certain look. And so I'm going to do it on this one. This one is 24 by 24. It does not fit on my table, which is actually okay because it's only about an inch over maybe. And I'm going to use furniture levelers on the bottom rather than the little points I typically use, because this one needs to go obviously somewhere else to dry, on a bigger table somewhere else in my studio. And I'm going to I'm going to tape the back, and I'm going to attach the furniture levelers. I'm going to bring it over to where it's going to dry, and I'm going to fully level it, and then I'll bring it back here and paint it. So okay, that's what we're about to do. Okay, we're all leveled at the drying table. It's pretty perfect. And just to be safe again, I marked one corner of the canvas and one corner of the table, just to indicate that I'm going to put it to dry in the same position that I leveled it. It really wasn't off very much when I just put it right down, so it didn't take a lot of adjustment. So it shouldn't matter, but it's just an extra precaution. Okay, here we go with this big piece. This is the 24 by 24. I have painted the sides, and I am using this tape dome again. I'm just finding this a really good cheat for me. But because this painting is so big, I do fear that it's going to be a long video because I'm going to need to go slow. Otherwise, if I screw this all up and then I have to start over, I'm going to be bummed. So just note that it's either going to be a very long video or it's going to be sped up in parts. But I am also going to be needing to walk around the table probably more than I would normally do. As I mentioned, this canvas is just maybe half an inch or an inch wider than this table is deep, but I have positioned the levelers in such a manner that at least it's sitting on the table, but it is sitting just on the edge of the table. So I'm gonna have to be very careful not to shift it too much because it'll go right over. So fun stuff. So I have my base, which is black and permanent magenta. It's not a half and half. It's just I think it's 2 to 1, two black to 1 permanent magenta, and then I made gray out of it by putting a whole lot of white in it. And then I have that same black on, not with no white in it. Here's the dang bugs. And so my plan is the base is going to be this gray. And it's going to be basically what I would call kind of like an Enso circle look to it. It's going to be a circle with a little bit of jut outs, but we're going to have some negative space both in the center and out around the edges, or hopefully out around the edges. I have a tendency to pour down too much paint, so hopefully I won't do that this time. Okay, and the other colors involved in this are going to be carmine red, which shares a pigment color with the permanent magenta that I put in the black, so I'm hoping that'll work out nicely. White, fairly good amount of white. I want this to be sort of monochromatic, but with pops. So the red is going to be more of a pop of red, and then some gold, of course, also sort of a pop of gold. Not really sure. I kind of do want this to be pretty minimal, so we'll see. I have here 20, well, I don't know, it's about 20, I think I started, so the line, it's up on the line a little bit, but I want to say it's about 26 ounces of paint, which is a little more than you need here. But I've already learned in the other 2 pieces I've been doing that you can't just pour 24 ounces of paint on here. It's too much. At least it's too much for me, but I have enough to cover, so at least I have enough to cover. But for now, I'm going to just pour out my base to about how much I think I need. Then I'm going to spread it out, take the tape off, like we've been doing. Okay, so okay, let's stop there and see if I need more. I didn't put any gloves on yet because it's hard to do the tape with gloves on, so as soon as I get this base done, and I will oh, this paint's been sitting for a while and it didn't even really give it more than a gentle stir, but actually that's not too many bubbles. All right, so I'm going to tilt it out a little bit and see if I need more or what. I may need a little more, but this is good. I want to just coat it really well. Kind of see the red in there. It's fun. It's nice. I'm gonna need just a little bit more. Take care not to smash those levelers down too hard and basically undo all the leveling that have been done. I'm going to try to even this out across the canvas a little bit. Just keep moving it until I don't really see a line moving anymore. Okay, and I'm getting way out of frame. Okay. Okay, so again, I did two pieces of tape instead of one this time to hopefully get this off easier. To put a little more in the middle and tilt it out a little bit. I need a lower table for a piece this big. My wingspan isn't quite as big as this piece is. Tilt this a little bit. Slippery, slippery, slidey. Slippery, slippery, slippery. Okay, I think we're pretty good there. We're gonna do a little more torching. Get you back in frame. Okay. I'll let my hands dry so I can put my gloves on here in a minute. I'm gonna take this big jug off the counter before I dump it. Bowls that are aren't popping. I don't want to get too close to the paint. I'm not sure if they're goobers or bubbles. They're bubbles. Lots of bubbles. Boy, this paint's been sitting around for a while. I'm not sure why there's so many bubbles, but there is, so there is. Big ones. Okay, well we're gonna start blowing it, so it's fine. And I want to try to get a good, you know, in the middle circle here. Oops, that was just poured out a little too much. Oh, that's so much. Way more than I wanted. Okay, that's fine. We'll work with that. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. I'm gonna put more white later. I just don't want too much of it right now. Oh, there's a bug on my white. Dang bugs, man. Some red. Some black over here where I didn't have as much. Over here. Oh, I didn't do any. Well, I'm gonna have to do that with the dryer then. I didn't actually paint on any departures. Oh, my whole middle is just so screwed up. This is fine because I'll blow into that. Too much white there. Yowzers. That's why I like to use squeeze bottles, because it's a little bit more measured, but at the same time it puts a lot of air in, because when you squeeze the paint out of the bottle, with it comes air. So now it's time to start the blow up. Okay. Actually, I wasn't gonna, well, I will now. Oh, no, I wasn't gonna. I do need to fix this middle. I just realized I do need to fix this middle, because I wasn't planning on blowing in or out of the, I wasn't planning on blowing out to the edges like I did with my other people, with those other pieces, with the fire and the ice. So I'm just gonna need to pick up all this black that I spilled. Touch up that much of the center, because it will be hard to do without it being noticeable. That's fine. That'll all. Ugh. And then I splash. That's not enough. That's fine. Get rid of that too, just for good measure. Okay. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Love, love, love. That's it, I'm not messing anymore. No more messing around. Oh, well, that is just so pretty. It's a little off center down here at the bottom. You know, it's a little further down to the bottom than the top, hence off center, but it's okay because I'm off center. I don't generally prefer things to be on center either. So I have my base. I have some leftover base, so I'm definitely gonna have to paint these sides I'll paint them when it's dry. And any other touch-ups I need to do on any of it, I can do because I have the base and obviously all the other paints as well. But I am going to leave this. I am so happy with this. Okay, I'm going to be wandering around, popping bubbles, fixing sides, and then I'm going to move it to its special drying spot that was created and leveled. Good. Let's move it to its spot. And hope no bugs land in it while it's drying, because that seems to be the new thing to plague me down here, which is bugs landing into wet paint. You want to take a look before I move it? Actually, let me move it and then we'll take a look. All right, look at this. Sorry, there's a little glare coming from somewhere here, but oh my. I'm glad I didn't add all of those other metallics. This is fairly simplistic, and the pops of red really added something to it for me. Oh, this is going to be kind of awesome. Can't wait to see it dry. Okay. Once this beauty was dry, I let it dry completely. It dried really very flawlessly. I was so happy about that. I took the whole piece and I sprayed it with matte varnish. I was focusing on all of the negative space areas, but for the most part, almost the whole piece had to get sprayed because of the part in the middle and how much of the flow was there. So now, and I let that, dry for a while. So now what I'm doing is I'm outlining my flow with a gloss varnish with a tiny, tiny brush. And I will go from here and I will fill in all of the flow areas. And I'm just jumping around here in the video a little bit. I'm just showing you parts of this because it took me about an hour to do this part of the varnishing. The matte varnish I did in a spray bottle, so that was a little quicker. I did not record that. So now I have outlined both the outer edge of the circle and the inner edge of the circle with that tiny brush. And now I'm taking the larger brush and I'm filling in all of the rest of the flow with some more gloss varnish. A lot of what I did with the detailed areas was, very, very slow work. I took a very small brush and I outlined the edges, like I said, of the outer part of the flow and the inner part of the flow. And then I took a dry brush and I sort of spread out the gloss varnish that I had there that I was applying with this thin brush, the tiny brush. I kind of used a dry brush to sort of fan that out so it wasn't clumpy, so it would dry nicely. And then I went in with the larger brush and filled in all of the larger areas with the gloss varnish. And now I'm back in here with the dry brush again, just to make sure that all of it is spread out nicely and not, again, no varnish is sitting clumpy. And I keep angling the piece up against the light so that I could see any spots where I may have missed in the flow. And so I just kind of keep going back and forth from the brush with the wet varnish on it to the drier brush to spread it more thinly. And I just did this for, like I said, about an hour until the entire flow portion of the piece was covered in gloss varnish in a nice thin even layer, as evenly as I could get it. And it wasn't that hard to do, but it was some detailed work. And but I really love the look of this, so I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I spent the extra time. All right, here we are with the finished product. This piece is big and I am happy with it. Let's go in and have a look. So I'm going to just give a little angle so we can see the difference between the matte finish and the gloss finish. We've got some nice sun coming in so we can get a good angle on that. I love the elements of this piece. I love the pops of red and the pops of gold. I'm not sure if it did anything other than just give a matching tone, but I love the red and the black and the red and the gray, and how it worked together with the pops of red in the flow. And I am just continue to be very, very happy with this piece. I hope you like it as well. This might be our last video. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know what order I'm going to put them in, but thank you for being here for all of these videos, and thank you for watching all my painting vacation, and come back and paint with me again.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun.